Jean Keene is nothing short of legend in the small fishing community of Homer, Alaska. She's tough as nails, independent and resourceful, and Jean's home has become a sanctuary for much of Homer's eagle population. There's no stopping Homer's eagle lady, not even Alaska's bitter and lingering winters.
My name is Jean Keene, and I was born in Aiken, Minnesota. Lived in Minneapolis or Bloomington for a long time, and then came up here. My first trip up here was probably at least 25 years ago, and made 2 or 3 trips up here, and came up to my cousin's wedding in Fairbanks at Lane St. John's, and then I knew I wanted to live here, so I went back and pawned and hawked and sold and borrowed and whatever I had to do to move up here. I've always fed birds. I fed birds when I lived in Minnesota, and then here I threw a few scraps out one day because I don't like to see anything go to waste, and there's a few seagulls and maybe 1 or 2 eagles around, and so I just kept throwing a few scraps out, and pretty soon a few more eagles came, and I was supervisor for Icicle Seafoods at the time, so I bring over a bucket of the waste fish and throw that out, and pretty soon that led to 2 buckets, and now it amounts to a great deal of fish. I've probably been feeding 20 years. It helps them get through the tough part of the winter. I don't start feeding until about the 1st of January, and just from January until about the middle of April or so. I don't want the young birds coming from the nest to the feeding area. They need to learn to hunt on their own, and so that they don't get that dependent on me. Once I start putting the food out, then they all start coming in, but they're not sitting around waiting for me to put the food out around Christmas time. And so then over a period of about 2 or 3 weeks, then I get between 200 and maybe 250 birds. It's used to be over 300, but it's dropped down to between 200 and 250 now. I don't feed them in the summertime because I don't want them to get that dependent on me. They need to learn to feed on their own, and so say by the middle of April or so I just quit the feeding, and then they leave. They don't. They're not sitting around. You know, they sit around for a day or 2 maybe, but then they're gone. And so that the people think they've gotten so dependent on me, but they haven't. Because in the fall and in the winter, until I start feeding, they're not sitting around waiting for me to put the food out, and they have to be on their own for, 8.5, 9 months of the year. The New West of Fisheries across the road gave me quite a bit of stuff this year, and Nugget Patrick gave me quite a bit of stuff from Ketchimak Seafood Packing, and also Doug Stewart from his Catch gave me a lot of stuff. And Ken from the Ketchimak Gear Shed gave me thousands of pounds of old herring that really helps a lot. They won't eat bread or grain. They'll only eat meat. Their favorite probably is 2 favorites are herring and salmon. Some are very aggressive, and others are kind of sit back and just wait for the others to get done. And sometimes when the seagulls always join in on it, and if something triggers an eagle, and if the seagull's got a herring, he'll grab that seagull, and then he completely destroys the seagull. He eats every bit of the seagull, including the beak and the legs and the feet and everything. Just feathers is all you find afterwards. And then the other seagulls leave when there's been like a violent death there, and they won't come back then for a while, maybe an hour or so anyway, and might start trickling back. They don't tear into each other so they kill each other. I've never seen that happen. It may have happened a time or 2, but occasionally they will draw a little blood on one another. But otherwise they'll knock each other from the post or swoop in and grab their food away from them. And but that's about the extent of it. They bang into each other a lot, but they don't physically seem to hurt each other. They do get a certain number of seabirds. This I know. I keep talking to the biologists, and they say everything is still okay, but if they said it's time to quit, then I would stop like yesterday, because as far as I'm concerned, they're the boss. And So that, but I do get complaints every once in a while that they see an eagle take some seabirds, but the biologists tell me eagles have always done that, and so as I say, I watch that because I don't want to deplete our seabird population either. I've got 3 handicap eagles right now. I have picked up eagles that have been missing a leg or missing a foot and with broken beaks, and when I can capture them, then Fish and Wildlife send them directly to Anchorage for repair, and then some are brought back here and released. I don't know if they're afraid of any animal. The only thing is that the crows will sometimes torment them, and they will finally just give up on their food and leave and let the crow have it. Most people are just taken aback by the fact that there are so many birds, and probably by the fact that they can drive up close to the driftwood where they've got the barricades, and if they stay in their car, that eagle would get up very close to them. But if they open their door and get out, then the eagles are gone. And so sometimes I have a hard time getting people to stay in their vehicles because they think they could go pose with the eagle and things like that. But I'd say 98% of the people are very good. Then I always have a few world-class jerks. You know, you're going to get that. And but otherwise, basically, most of them are really good about it. And I try to work with them on getting their pictures, and I get a bigger thrill out of getting an eagle up where a guy with a little camera can take a good picture than I do somebody with a $10,000 lens. and I have people come from all over the world. I had people from Austria, Italy, and France, and a lot of people from Germany this year, plus a lot of photographers throughout the United States. I don't charge anything for being in my yard, but I'm only comfortable really with no more than 4 photographers, but I have made exceptions and had 5 and 6 in there. But they call months ahead of time and make reservations for this. Most of the people really enjoy seeing them and enjoy coming out and taking the pictures and bringing their kids. This is another thing I really enjoy, when they bring a whole car full of kids, and these kids are well behaved and would just squeal in delight when a bird comes down alongside them and picks up a piece of fish, you know, because I think it's important they get used to seeing them and know what they are.